gotta see. All they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my lottery. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see racing, they gotta see. All they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my lottery. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see ORL. 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 VSR all day, VSR my way. Real ones only get it. Say less, we straight. 59, never back down. If you didn't know, just ask around. Pull the draft on the front stretch. Turn one, they tap it down. Force the gap with all contact. Feel the adrenaline off that. Under pressure from front to back. Another cup, one and keep it on track. You wanted more, I'm calling cap. Elbows up, come get it back. 50 drivers in the server. Hope you're ready for combat. All they see racing, they gotta see. All they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my lottery. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see racing, they gotta see. All they see racing the part of me. Sim racing my lottery. Start to finish, give all to me. All they see ORL. All they see.
Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, wherever you are, whenever you are. Bienvenido a tutti to GT America's round 2 of season 19. Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are at the beautiful, amazing, historic Imola. However, before we get to the qualifying, we're going to go through a little bit of some housekeeping first. So you are watching GT America's Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. This is a multi-class race between GT3s and GT4s. A little bit of a sneak peek of our whole season. We are round 2 at Imola, season 19. Next week, it's going to be at Zandvoort. However, we do also have a special event that we're going to be talking about later on in the stream. But it is going to have to do with Imola and Suzuka round 2 and round 4. We do have some endurance racing that's going to be happening there. And a quick view of our standings. Our winner last week for the pro drivers, Andrew Rados, coming in P1, followed by Phil Cryotheos, who had not so great of a qualifying outside of the top 3, however, making it into the second spot of the podium at the end of the race with a great pit stop and a great finishing stint there for the Australian driver that moves him into P2 overall. Michael Moletta into P3, and that's your top podium for the pro drivers. For the amateur drivers, Kyle White coming out on top with Drew Jensen and Tim Gargle some water holding on to the podium rings right below him. For the rookies, the GT3 Damon Castro taking the win in the number 215 car. Ryan Chanley and Alex Donaldson holding on to the other 2 spots there on the podium. For the GT4s, Dean Solomon is your leader and your winner from last week. Also, in case you didn't know, he is, I believe, the artist that created the ORL theme song. So big shout out to Dean Solomon there. Matt Hugh with a not so great qualifying, but a very, very, very great ending stint. Able to squeak out P2 almost with the win, but was unfortunately beaten in the pits by Dean Solomon. So he was able to squeak out the lead there. And Leila Martinez rounding off your top qualifying spots. So enough about the housekeeping. We're going to go straight into qualifying. GT4s are out on the track. Alan Romero, the number 55 Mercedes AMG GT4 on your screen right now. Already some qualifying, official qualifying times coming through. Alex Cruz on the number 121 BMW, 151.455 for them. Bonus Charles, the number 26 Janetta coming out P2. And Dean Solomon, the number 59 Porsche. Unless something happens here, there is a black and orange flag that may be a... I don't know if that... Well, Alan Romero sneaking in. Not able to get into the top steps of the podium there. However, we're going to be going over to Dean Solomon as he crosses the finish line on the last official qualifying lap for the GT4s. The Porsche GT4 going through the checkered finish line. Not able to improve his time and taking a quick little... Oh, what did that sign ever do to you, Dean, huh? A little bit of... Minecraft explosion for the that sign there for the braking marker, but that is it for the GT4s. My little housekeeping took a little bit too much time there, so I do apologize for that. Let's also increase the race volume here for you racing fans. Alex Donaldson on the track now, the number 24 Aston Martin. This is the rookies out on track now. Gonna start looking over at the chat. Hello everyone. Drew Jensen, let's go. Hello Drew. Hello Timothy. Hello Andreas. Michael in the chat. Basilisk, I see you in the chat. Hello, hello. Victoras. Hello everyone. Welcome to the stream. It's so bright. Yes, it is very bright. I tried to make it as visible as possible for the viewers here. I know it's supposed to be a little bit of a sneak peek, right? But it may be a little bit of a darker race here tonight for the racing, for your racing enjoyment. And that does make it a little bit difficult to see. So I did mess with the settings there. So you should be able to see very nicely once the race actually starts and we're in the pitch black darkness of right now it's 21 o'clock, so 8 p.m. So it starts getting, I'm assuming it starts getting dark here in Italy at around like 9, 10 o'clock. So by the time the race starts, which I believe the race starts at like 10 or 11, there are not a lot of sections of this track that have lights. So it's going to be very, very pitch dark in those places. Red de Guzman taking out the Honda NSX Evo for a spin. Number 6 Honda here on board, or excuse me, on the track here, coming through all of the tracks here that IMOLA has to offer. And speaking of IMOLA, the first race ever held here at IMOLA was in 1953. It's a motorcycle race. But the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, also known as IMOLA, does hold an FIA Grade 1 license. So F1 does do racing here, and this is, I believe... Oh, no. That's the incorrect button. We're going back to Red de Guzman because he's going through the last couple of turns, going through with a valid lap. Let's see where this puts Red into solid P4 position for Red de Guzman. 145.610 for Red. 140 is actually the magic number here at Imola. So Agüero Martinez in the number 79 BMW, 142.690. Inching ever closer to the fabled 140. The rookie driver in the Moon Black RT BMW. Giving the rest of the rookies a run for the money, as we can see sparks flying as he goes through the big the bottom impression that is the Aqua Minerale turn. Arguably one of the hardest turns on this track, if not ACC. As you're going from a very fast left-hander into a double right hard braking zone into a downhill hard right braking zone, which compresses the car into probably like the smallest it's ever been. Just keeping an eye on Agüero here, as we also keep an eye on the rest of the trio. Alex Donaldson, P2 for the number 24 Aston Martin, 143.942. Keep an eye at Agüero Martinez cross the line, still in P1 for him, 142.19 for him. Andres Espinosa moving up, making a name for himself, the number 27 Audi for KF Racing Team, with the Chilean driver behind the wheel. Only 0.0, so that's 0.003 of a second behind P1 there. Andres Espinosa, an amazing qualifying time last week during round 1 at Indianapolis. However, an unfortunate turn of events during the first couple of laps of the first race ended up seeing him get taken out and pushed out of the standings. A great recovery race, however, not able to get into the standing points that Andres so desperately wanted. P2 right now for the rookie driver. That does look really good for them now. A strong showing as well at Imola. So there are a couple drivers that may or may not be looking at a possible early driver license promotion here at Odyssey Racing League. We do have our own internal licensing. So drivers, as you can see, the drivers out on the track have a red number plate. And that does signify that they are rookies here at Odyssey Racing League. And qualifying really good and placing really good as a rookie may or may not help facilitate an early promotion. Victoras in the chat, I'm literally terrified of Aqua Minerale. Victoras, dude, in the Lamborghini, it's so scary. You every time I'm braking, it's the right-hander, right? Hold on, what I can't remember what the number of the turn is. Okay, so it's turn 11. It's the first right-hander into Aqua Minerale. I take it. The car feels settled. I start hitting the brakes, applying them a little bit more so I can slow down more, and then I start turning so I can go up the hill to finish Aqua Minerale. Every time in the Lamborghini, I spin out. It's terrible. I cannot do it. I lack the skill to go quickly through Aqua Minerale compared to a lot of the drivers here on the track. Michael Krummel, excuse me. Number 462 Aston Martin going through the double left-handers of the Rivazza turns. As we can see the nice Assetto Corsa Competizione banner going overhead as we see the Aston Martin going under it. Is Michael able to improve their time? Michael is not able to improve their time. We can see on the left-hand side of our screen, though, that the pros in the AMs have been released. Andres Espinosa electing to finish his qualifying, so that is going to be it for the rookies. Agüero Martinez, your rookie pole sitter, 142.195 for him. Andres Espinosa, P2, 142.227. And Alex Donaldson rounding off your rookie podium right now, the number 24 Aston Martin with a 143.335. But enough about the medium fish. Let's go over to the big fish. Sporting that beautiful orange and blue Odyssey Racing League livery. Phil the Iceman Cryotheos in the number 81 McLaren for Odyssey Racing League Esports, starting his first official qualifying lap. Cryotheos P2 overall in the standings. A good qualifying, but an even better race and race finish. Will Cryotheos be able to take the checkered flag tonight for the pros? It's going to be a question that we're going to have to see after 60 minutes here tonight at Imola. Oh, in case I did forget to mention, racing fans, it is a 60-minute race tonight. So it is going to be 1 full hour of non-stop racing action here for Odyssey Racing League GT America's Season 19. 19 turns, 4.9 kilometers. That's like it's a little bit more than 3 miles. The FIA Grade 1 track Imola here, which we are at tonight. Very historic, very popular. Not just F1 races here, but also the FIA World Endurance Champion. The European Le Mans Series runs here. And a lot of GT Americas and GT World Challenge, some SRO related events also run here at Imola. So it is a very popular track. Speaking of popular, 38 cars on track tonight, or going to be on track tonight for the race. Very, very nice number there. Phil Cryotheos in the number 81 McLaren moving up into P3 overall. Michael Moletta in the 72 McLaren, not too far off from him, so they're going to start slicing and dicing through the rookie times. We're going to start seeing the white and silver start peppering in between and hopefully surpass the red plated numbers there. Speaking of surpass, Josh Staffen. Ooh, a nice little Tokyo drift right there into the sand. Able to keep it away from the wall. So a very great save there by Josh Staffen. I'm going to leave that up to commentator's curse. And I do apologize for that, Josh. So we're going to move back over to Michael. Josh Staffen, 141.797. So that's going to put him screaming past everyone else towards the top. The number 25 Honda. Pretty quick time there, if I do say so myself. Adrian Martin in the chat. Let's see some good, clean racing. I do agree. And that is something that we strive for and work towards here at Odyssey Racing League. Speaking of clean racing, we do have a live stewards here at every single race for Season 19 and all the past and future races. I mean, unless anyone tells me something different, we do have live stewards. So a big shout out to the live stewards. Thank you so much for your hard work. Basilisk in the chat, Sander Espinosa. So cheering on Espinosa here. The number 72 Porsche able to move up into P3, which is going to be pushing Cryotheos down into P5 overall. Rob Rochta in the number 331 BMW, splitting the teammates of Cryotheos and Clayton Filsinger there. Clayton Filsinger, P7 overall, and the number 615 Lamborghini Huracan Evo 2. A couple more drivers still need to put in their qualifying times. 9 p.m. in sim time, 40 seconds left in qualifying, 23 degrees Celsius, so not too cold, but not too warm either. It's like a very, I wouldn't say ideal either, because it is dark, right? So it's going to be, visibility is going to be a little bit worse than it normally is. However, 23 degrees Celsius is a pretty good track temp to have. So I don't think the drivers are going to be complaining too much about grip, but I wonder why some of the times that we're seeing today aren't as quick as we normally see them. Clayton Filsinger able to squeak out an amazing lap, 141.605, still on a valid lap. Clayton Filsinger moves into P2. However, Michael Moletta pushes him out of the top spot, making sure that every single second in qualifying counted. Michael Moletta moving up into P1, 141.605, only 1,000th of a second, almost 2,000ths of a second between the number 615 and the number 72. We're going to stay on board with Clayton to see if he's going to be able to take the P1 spot. I do see Josh Staffen, also the number 25 Honda, with a great, amazing time on the Delta. Crossed the finish line. We weren't able to see it on our screen. Josh Staffen, the number 25 Honda, moving into P1, 140.992. What a screamer of a lap from the Honda. However, Clayton Filsinger coming down into the double left-handers of the Rivazza, turn 17 and turn 18. Is he able to make up enough time to get out of P3 and so desperately get that P1 that he needs? Crossing the final turn and through the checkered flag and the finish line, Clayton Filsinger not able to get into P1. Enough for P2 though. The number 615 Lamborghini moving into P2, pushing Michael Moletta onto the third step of the podium. However, Josh Staffen with the screamer of a 140.992 able to take the top step of the podium for qualifying. That is the end of the official time of qualifying. We're going to go to a quick intermission. Please don't go anywhere. We're going to get right into the grid walk right after that. On behalf of Odyssey Racing League, welcome to GT America's Season 19 Round 2 starting grid walk. We are at IMOLA. It is 22:02 at night, if you know how to read military time. In case you don't, at the top of our screen, 10 p.m. It is a 1-hour race. And to lead off this 1-hour race in P1, your pole sitter, the number 25 Honda, driven by Josh Staffen. P2, Clayton Filsinger, the number 615 Odyssey Racing League Lamborghini. Rounding off your third step of the podium, Mikal Moleta, the number 72 Porsche for Baller Squad Racing. Robert Roach starting in P4 right next to Michael, the number 72 Porsche there. Number 331 BMW in P4. P5, Philip, the Iceman Cryotheos. Number 81 McLaren for Odyssey Racing League. P6, Agüero Martinez, the number 79 BMW. Your leader for the amateur drivers, or the amateur plated drivers, the rookies. P6 overall for them. P7, Andres Espinosa, the rookie driver contender and rival for the number 79 BMW, the number 27 Audi on our screen, driven by the Chilean driver in P7 overall. P8, Kyle White, your leader for the AM drivers, or the silver plated drivers, the number 251 Aston Martin. P9, Victoras Pujokaitas, the number 100 Lamborghini in P9. And rounding off your top 10, Wyatt Vator, 272 Ferrari driven, for Baller Squad Racing. P10 overall for that Ferrari. P11, Alex Donaldson. P12, Richard Harknett, the man himself, in the number 66 Honda. P13, Marcio Mota. P14, Daniel Fernandez. P15, Tim Gargle Some Water. P16, Miguel Cizeron in the 999 Aston Martin. P17, Red de Guzman in the number 6 Honda. P18 goes to Drew Jensen in the number 19 Ford Mustang. P19, Ryan Bishop. And round off your top 20, Michael Cortez for Noobs R Us in the number 716 McLaren. P21 goes to Ryan Chanley, the number 67 Aston Martin. P22, Excel Caraballo, the number 787 Ford Mustang. I love seeing the Ford Mustangs on here with that American V8 muscle. However, Jake Schaffenbauer, the number 92 Mercedes AMG. P23 overall for then Damien Castro, the number 215 BMW. P24, Robbie Sort of Asian. P25 for them. P26, Michael Crummell. P27, Bobby Evans. Now starting off, your leader for the GT4 is Alex Cruz, number 121 BMW GT4. Bonus Charles, P2 overall, P2 but P29 overall for the GT4s. Dean Solomon rounding off your GT4 podium there in the Porsche GT4. Alan Romero, P31 overall for them. P32, Leila Martinez in the mac and cheese Aston Martin. This gets my vote for the best livery. Wei-Shin Wang rounding off, last but not least, for the GT4s. A couple of drivers did not get to qualify. Nicholas Woods, the number 33 Ford Mustang, starting in P34. Josh Rodriguez as well, and Luke Lizama starting off, or finishing off, our grid walk. As they go side by side, it's a little bit dark here at Imola, but we're going to try our best to bring you as much action and as much excitement as we can. We see the cars line up side by side. Our leader, Josh Staffen, lining up on the left side of the track, so that's going to put him on the inside for the first turn. We're going to be waiting for them side by side, waiting for the green flag to drop. And there it is, the green flag drop, and that's the start of round 2 of Season 19 GT Americas. It's a little bit dark, but we can see clearly on our screens going 3 wide there in the first couple of turns, almost 4 wide. A couple of drivers trying to sleep in through, bumping and bruising, elbows out in the first turn. A couple of hits being made for a couple of drivers, Michael Moleta and I believe Clayton Filsinger and Philip Cryotheos, all throwing out shoulders and elbows, trying to get as much track position as they can. Daniel Fernandez, in the meanwhile, is losing positions, it looks like it, which is not very good. Alex Donaldson trying to regain control of that Aston Martin as he puts his left-hand side tires in the grass. excuse me, in the dirt there, throwing up some kitty litter, trying to get as much traction as he can coming out of the second chicane there. Josh Staffen still in the lead, trying to get that squirrely Honda under control. Clayton Filsinger moving up into P2. Philip Prialtheos, his teammate, moving into P3. Agüero Martinez, P4. Robert Borchta, P5. Kyle White, P6. Victoras Pujokaitas, P7. Andres Espinosa, P8. Richard Hartnett, P9. Wyatt Viator all the way down to P10. That bump there in the first turn is not going to be looked favorably upon by the stewards. They're going to be waiting to see if anything happens or any word from the stewards coming out of the contact for the first couple of turns here. Other than that, it looks relatively quiet everywhere else on the track. Everyone is still fighting for position. Alex Donaldson trying to get a good run up into the braking zone here of the double Ravazza of turn 17 and 18. The number 24 Aston Martin is still sandwiched there in a P11. 5-second time penalty is handed out to Alex Donaldson, but that is a success penalty, I believe. In case you did not know, here at Odyssey Racing League, we do hand out success penalties. So if you are in first place, second place, or third place from the previous race, you are given a time penalty for the next race to try to help and even things out. Moving over, it does look like Richard Hartnett in the Apex Realty Honda is trying to make a move on Andres Espinosa, number 27 there. It looks like he tried to make a move on the inside, coming into the second chicane. However, not able to make any move happen. He's now trying to look along the inside, going up the hill into the Piratella turn. Now downhill, down into turns 10 and 11 to start off the Aqua Minerale, the double right-hand turn. Richard Hartnett goes through, trying to get as close as he can to that Audi. The Audi does go off, so that the number 27 is pushed off on his own. That's going to be putting Richard Hartnett side by side, coming into the braking zone. Him and the number 27, the number 66, able to get along the inside, and they're first into the third chicane. So that is Richard Hartnett moving up a spot and able to claim P8 for his own. A great move there being made. However, now being moves being made between teammates, the Baller Squad racing teammates of Michael Molita and Wyatt Viator, almost side by side through the double Ravazza. However, Michael allowing the Ferrari to go through. A lot of people shouting out Staffen in the chat. Josh Staffen still in the lead. He's got about a 2-second lead in front of the number 615 Lamborghini. However, speaking of Lamborghini, the Lamborghini feeling pressure from the McLaren in front of him. Speaking of pressure, going off Clayton Filsinger, the number 615, taking a huge exit off the track. And that's going to be Phil Prialtheos and the number 81 McLaren moving up into P2. And Clayton Filsinger is going to be hemorrhaging spots here because he fell off there into turn 10, and that's just all sand there. And it's so much harder to get back onto the track. Miguel Cizeron trying to make a move along the outside, makes the move stick. The number 999 Aston Martin made Tim gargle some water, do a double take as he made the move along there through the chicane. Let's get you a nice little onboard here. The number 11, Luke Lizama. Luke Lizama actually on the track. It does not show his flag here, but the Trinidadian driver showing off all of his skills in new machinery, I might add. I believe he was in the Porsche round 1. Now for round 2, he is in the Ferrari 296 GT3. So a new platform for him. Well, I believe an old platform. I did speak to Luke a while ago, and I do remember him talking about, or speaking about racing Ferrari, the Ferrari platform before, but it has been a very long time. A nice sizable gap now between the leader and P2, Josh Staffen. Quick little check-in with the leader, Josh Staffen. Almost driving in the dark here by himself. The real-time racing driver in the number 25 Honda. Going through the last chicane here. We can hear the engine of the McLaren and a couple of the other drivers still fighting for position behind him. Ryan Chanley in the number 67 dips his left-hand tires into the gravel, however, tries to make it alongside, side by side with Robbie Sort of Asian. However, Robbie Sort of Asian able to squeak out a little bit further at the apex of the final part of that chicane. So that's going to be putting him in front of Ryan Chanley. Another Aston Martin behind him, Josh Rodriguez specifically, and the number 93 Aston Martin. Also almost trying to get a piece of that Aston Martin booty as he was trying to come in through. And we get a nice little gaggle of cars here coming through the start-finish straight. All fighting for position side by side in the back. It's Michael Cortez and Ryan Bishop side by side, hard into the braking zone they go. A move made, but a move made way too late, I think, by Michael Cortez. Unfortunately, taking out the number 93 Aston Martin, and both of those cars are going to see extensive damage and extensive repair time during the pit stop. We're only 52 minutes in, with 52 minutes left in the race. We're only 8 minutes in. Come on, guys. Oh, no. Josh Rodriguez along the inside of Robbie Sort of Asian. Robbie almost getting pushed off Josh Rodriguez, but able to see that move coming a little bit early and able to slow down before Robbie takes back that racing line spot. The number 169 BMW side by side now with the Aston Martin on our screen. Both of them go side by side, bumping and grinding as they go through. Josh Rodriguez, however, able to make it through ahead. That's going to be moving Robbie down into P21. Excuse me, P22. Josh Rodriguez taking the P21 spot. Ryan Chanley smelling blood in the water, not too far off behind. So it's going to be a Aston Martin sandwich with the BMW filling in the middle. A little bit of a blinking coming out from that Aston Martin in the back. Speaking of action, I do see some GT4 action happening on my screen as well. Bonus Charles able to move up into the lead off our screen. However, now on our screen, the battle for P2 happening between the BMW GT4s, the 121 and the number 423 to be exact. Leila Martinez also right there on the right-hand side of our screen in the mac and cheese Aston Martin. So any one of these three drivers can fight for contention for that second step of the podium. We see the brake lights come on and the cars tilt forward as they come into the braking zone to slow down as much as they can for the left right-hander of the first chicane. Leila Martinez, 5-second time penalty for Leila, but that is a success penalty. A move being possibly made along the inside. The number 924 tried to maybe stick their nose in there and see if they can make a move stick and maybe get a better exit. However, Wei Shin Wong and the number 423 BMW did get a better exit, so that's going to be putting them in front. However, we can see them go gadget extendo arm. Leila Martinez has called out as they almost go bumper to bumper there through the Piratella turn and out through Aqua Minerale into the hard compression zone and now up the hill into the final chicane known as Viriante Alta. It looks like Wong is able to keep Leila Martinez at bay for now. My dashboard is flashing like crazy. Richard Harknett and the number 66 Honda moving up position. Sparks flying out of the back of that Honda. Oh, and a little bit of a squirrely exit. The weight transfer not helping him out there at Aqua Minerale, and I 100% blame commentator's curse, breaking deep into the second chicane so he can stay out ahead of Andres Espinosa, but Richard Harknett, or the space between Richard Harknett and the P5, the number 100 Lamborghini Victoras Pujokaitis, is increasing now, with the gap behind him decreasing. So Andres Espinosa trying to put his bumper right on the back wang of Richard Harknett here. You can see the glowing exhaust out of that Honda as it tries to either decide whether they're going to attack or defend here. Brake lights coming on, hard braking zone. And a left, right, left they go. That is the wrong camera, I do apologize. Luke Lozama, the number 11 Ferrari, moving up spots now in a battle with Clayton Filsinger, who unfortunately had a tumble out of turn 10, which pushed him out of podium contention. So now both of these drivers fighting to get into the top 10, if not top 5. I know both of them are aiming to win. However, with 46 minutes left in the race, anything can happen, so you got to take it one turn at a time. Tim gargles some water, defending against that Ford Mustang that's behind him. Drew Jensen. Oh no, Tim gargles some water, goes off on Aqua Minerale, so that allows Drew Jensen the go-ahead positions. That's going to be P15 for Drew Jensen. Is it commentator's curse? Is that what's happening tonight? Every time I go to someone, they're going off? What's going on? Please, in the chat, help me get rid of this commentator's curse. It's not fair to the drivers. Some GT3 traffic happening for Leila Martinez. How are they able to capitalize on this? Nicholas Woods along the outside trying to get around the GT4s. So that's going to be breaking up a little bit of the GT4 battle here, especially if the GT3s are going to be getting it right there in the middle of our screen, that GT3. If it does get back up or back in the middle of those GT4s, it is going to be messing up that battle for us. However, we're going to be going back to that as soon as we can. Andres Espinosa on the back bumper, going through the Tosa hairpin on the back bumper of Richard Harknett. The number 66 Honda trying their very, very best to stay out ahead as they go through the Piratella turn with some GT4 traffic. I do believe that is Matt Hugh. That's a GT4 off. That's Dean Solomon? No, Dean Solomon off. So Dean Solomon gonna have to wait for that safe rejoin as we go side by side through the turn. Almost 3 now. The number 66 trying to give the 27 as much space as they can. The 27 squeeze them on in. So that's a pretty legal move if you ask me. Now almost side by side is gonna be a move in the braking zone. It's not, as we do see the BSR Porsche in the back driven by Michael Moletta. Almost made it a move as well at the exit of that chicane. However, not able to make it stick and get a better exit than the Honda in front of him. Michael's gonna have to stick behind or stick in the back of this 3-car train, as we do see Andres Espinosa leading the charge here in P6 for this action going on our screen. Brake lights come out. Hard braking zone between the cars, as we do see also the pit window is now officially open here at Odyssey Racing League. We do have an official pit stop. You must take fuel. Fuel is required. Tires are not. Tires are optional. So diving into the pits early may or may not be a strategy, as we do see the number 615 Lamborghini Clayton Filsinger in the pits already, maybe electing to take a super early undercut. We're going to see how that plays out for him strategy-wise. As I do know, last week a couple of drivers' races were made a lot better by having a really good pit strategy and able to come out on top at the end of that long pit stop that was Indianapolis. The 999 is yellow flag, so there is an incident with the 999 there. That is Miguel Cizeron. Side by side through traffic. Enough space being left. Beautiful multi-class action happening on our screen here. The GT4 doesn't have to move. Side by side are both. Is it a battle into the pits? It is. Richard Harknett and Michael Moletta battling until almost the very end, showing off he's not very happy, giving him a little bit of the flashies. However, that is going to be allowing Andres Espinosa some breathing room. So the number 27 Audi is going to have a little bit of time to breathe until the next car comes up on him. That's about 4 seconds until the next car comes up. So it's going to give him about 4 seconds of breathing room. And Nathan Rondon in the chat. Let's go, Castro. Some penalties being handed out now to some of the drivers. And speaking of drivers, let's move over to our race leader and let's keep an eye on him. So your race leader, Josh Staffen. Number 25 Honda in the lead, 7-second lead to be exact. Also the fastest time on track for tonight, 141.327. P2, Phil the Iceman Cryotheos. Number 81, McLaren P2. P3 is Agüero Martinez. Not too far behind him. This could be a battle that is maybe brewing and might develop on our screens a little bit further. But this battle most probably will happen sooner than later. Robert Rochta and the number 331 at BMW. Less than a second and a half behind Agüero there. P4 for Robert Rochta. P5 is Victoras Pujokaitas in the number 100 Lamborghini, rounding off your top 5. With his eyes set on the battle in front of him, Jean-Francois is looking to capitalize on any mistakes that's happening. Mistake actually being made there side by side. The Honda goes. Red de Guzman able to make it through. The number 6 Honda able to get past Ryan Shanley in the 67 Aston, which actually left enough space there for the number 105 to get in the mix now. Brake lights come on. Left, right, and left they go. Jean-Francois applying as much pressure as he can. I do hear a car going off. I need to see really quickly who that was. It doesn't show on my screen here. Kyle White hard into the braking zone for the final chicane. Sparks fly as tensions continue to build here at Odyssey Racing League Season 19, Round 2 of GT Americas. 39 minutes left in our official race session for tonight. That is an Aston Martin off the track. Is that Josh Rodriguez? I think it is. That is very unfortunate for Josh, who's going to be throwing up kitty litter there in a little bit of anger and some GT4 traffic on our screen as well. Was it because of the GT4 traffic that he went off the track there? I don't know, but side by side, Tim and Kyle go. Kyle almost had it there, but it looks like he elected to like bow out of that move at the last second, because we did see his nose move side to side a little bit, and so that is sometimes indicative of a driver trying to back out of a move and maybe, you know, putting their foot in a little too deep. Leila Martinez in P3 overall for the GT4s. However, trying to contend with the GT3 traffic, with the faster GT3 traffic developing around them. The number 924 Aston Martin was almost on the back bumper of P2 there, Alex Cruz. So we didn't see it on our screen. However, your race leader, Josh Staffen, went into the pits early. So he elected to undercut the rest of the drivers. So that pushes him down from P1 all the way into P16. So we do have a new race leader, that is Phil the Iceman Cryotheos. P1 for Cryo here in the number 81 McLaren for Odyssey Racing League. Agüero Martinez less than 2 seconds behind him in the number 79 at BMW, and Robert Rochta less than 2 seconds behind him in the number 331 BMW, to be exact. Now this is going to be very interesting, because both the number 81 McLaren and the number 79 BMW have 10-second time penalties, so that's going to be extending their pit stops by at least 10 seconds minimum. So this may or may not be won or lost in the pit lane here, as these success penalties are gonna be like a small, I wouldn't say like an ant bite, right? Because it's a little bit bigger than an ant bite. It's like mosquito. It's like multiple mosquito bites. Just very annoying that you have those time penalties. But hey, sometimes that's what happens when you succeed. Speaking of succeed, trying to succeed in going from last to first, Luke Lizama, the number 11 Ferrari, moving up into P6 side by side with the number 27 Audi. They go, a little bit of door banging, but as we all know, rubbing is a little bit of rubbing, and a little bit of contact ain't hurt nobody. A great move by Andres Espinosa to keep the position here, as we keep an eye on the rest of the drivers when they're going into the pits, and any other drivers that are getting close for any overtaking moves. But if you find this action exciting and you want to actually, you know, potentially take part in it, as we almost get bumper to bumper here coming through the Piratella turn now through Aqua Minerale. Is Luke Lizama going to be making a move along the inside? No, he elects to stay bumper to bumper, on the back bumper to be as specific. Is he going to give him a little bump and shove, a little bumping and grinding potentially happening between the Ferrari and the Audi? A move being made along the inside, a defensive move then being made by the inside by the number 27. However, the 27 sticks along the inside. Luke Lizama tried to then go around the outside, makes the move stick. They bump doors again, And Luke Lezama able to make it out in front, giving a little bit of flashes for the GT4, trying to let them know that they're going to try to pass Leila Martinez, trying to allow the GT3 traffic to pass. Luke Lezama showing a textbook execution move of using GT4 traffic to your advantage. Luke Lezama able to excellently make those moves within the last couple of turns and moving, and that grants him P5 for Luke Lezama. What a move. Luke Lezama putting on a clinic of how to pass cars inside, outside. Doesn't matter which side. Because he'll be on the right side. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. Agüero Martinez, the Moon Black BMW, chasing down the number 81 McLaren on the back bumper. Both cars, 10-second time penalty, a 15-second time penalty handed out to the number 331 BMW. That is very painful. You cannot see my face, but I'm wincing in pain. Oh, and wincing, and speaking of wincing in pain, I didn't even see what happened there. Two cars almost blocking the whole screen there. That's number 66 and the number 6. Got caught up in a kerfuffle. What happened there? Let's see if... Oh, we definitely got to go back and see if we can see what happened there. An eye on the number 66. This is Richard Harknett in the Honda. Past the Varialta, going down now into the Rivazza, turn 16 and 17. Oh no, unfortunately loses the back end of the car and has to wait there for traffic to pass him. That is a very unfortunate thing to happen to Mr. Harknett there. So it actually wasn't Red de Guzman that was part of that incident. I believe he was in a different incident. That was a Ford Mustang that unfortunately got caught up in that incident. No fault to any driver there. It's just unfortunately losing the back end of the car. John Malo in the chat, is Josh still in first? I heard something about him but was getting a beer. Oh, John, so in case you missed it, he went in super early for a pit stop. So he went in like, as soon as the pit window opened, he threw himself into pits. So he went from P1 all the way down to like P16, and he's like fighting through the wait now, up now. And speaking of fighting through the wait, the number 79 BMW breaking deep into the zone as we see moves being made by both drivers, fighting for position here and fighting for the lead. Agüero Martinez now in the lead with a late braking move there into turn 17, making it stick. Phil Cryotheos having to give space. However, not allowing that space to get any wider than less than half of a second. Some traffic coming out of the pit lane, so that's going to be coming into the middle of the racing line there. And all the cars are going to have to respect each other, as we do see Agüero Martinez able to hold off Phil Cryotheos, so the number 79 BMW in the lead now, your new race leader. Robert Rochster in the number 331 and Victoras in the number 100, both electing to go into the pit lane to get their pit stops. Drew Jensen also now entering the pit lane in the number 19 Ford Mustang. Money moves being made all across, or all up and down the tree here. Kyle White, the number 251 Aston Martin, trying to fight against Michael Cortez here for position. Both cars going side by side into turn 1. A little bit of a blue flag, but we do see the red lights first of both cars. Kyle White able to make the move along the outside. A really great move, if I do say so myself. your GT4 leader, Bonus Charles. Into the pit lane they go. We do see an Aston Martin behind him. That is Ryan Bishop also getting into the pit lane. So that is a new race leader for the GT4s. Matt Hugh for Big Q Motorsports, and number 53 Camaro, your race leader for the GT4s as of now. 10-second time penalty, 10-second success time penalty to be exact for Matt Hugh here. So that is going to be extending their pit stop. A couple of other driver GT4s as well in the pit. That's Bonus Charles in the pits. And that's it actually. Only Matt Hugh is the last car that needs to go into the pits for the GT4, for the GT4s. So we're going to keep keeping an eye on him to see when he goes into the pits. Michael Mileto, the number 72 Baller Squad Racing Porsche, on the back bumper of Victoras. Both cars fresh out of the pits lane with a now full tank of fuel, which will help them get to the end of the race here. Nathan in the chat, Excel was the Mustang that got caught up. Oh, it was Excel's Mustang. Oh no, okay. So it was Excel's Mustang that got caught up here in the incident that happened on the double Rivazza turn here. A new race leader, Daniel Fernandez, the Pinoy driver in the McLaren for Bacon Streeps Racing, your new race leader. Still has to take their pit stop. 12 minutes and 25 seconds left in the mandatory pit window, so that is more than enough time to do a couple of laps before they have to go in for that pit stop. Josh Staffen, still the fastest time on track, so holding on to the Purple Crown. The number 25 Honda in P2 overall. We can get some camera action on them. There we go. For real-time racing. P2 overall. And P3 goes to the number 92 AMG, driven by Jake Schofferbauer. A lot of action happening on the track as drivers are finishing their pit windows and getting back out on the track and coming up to pace. But hey, racing fans, if you would like to keep up to pace with all the news, informations, and going-ons here at Odyssey Racing League, you can actually join us on our Discord. Discord.gg/Odyssey Racing League. I'll put a link for you there in the chat. Also, don't be afraid if you're just joining us now and you haven't subscribed or followed us. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, follow us, hit that notification bell as well, so that when you know when we go live for our next race. It's going to be round 3 for GT Americas, round 2 on Sundays for GT Europe at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Andres Espinosa feeling a little bit of the pressure from Rob Rochta behind him in the 331 BMW, going through the Piratella turns. Now downhill into Aqua Minerale. Can the BMW of Rob Rochta hold on to that small gap in between him as they now start passing some of the GT4, as they start catching up to the GT4 traffic? Will that deter any moves from being made? As we do now see Bobby Evans go into the pit lane. The number 120 is now in the pits. I saw a car go off there. Which car is that? That's number 92. No, Jake. Oh, the number 92 AMG was in, I think, P2 or P3, going off there at the turn 17, turn 18, the Ravazza turns. No, so that's going to be the AMG hemorrhaging spots, as we do see still this aggressive battle between the number 81 McLaren and the number 79 BMW still happening on our screen. Both drivers going almost to blows, or coming almost to blows between each other. A little bit of flashes from the BMW in front, letting them know that, hey, some traffic is trying to lap through. Daniel Fernandez, still your race leader. The number 626 McLaren has 8 minutes to go into the pit lane. And actually, I don't know if you heard me now, but he elects to go into the pit lane now. Pit limiter hits the pit limiter line and is ready to go into their pit window or pit lane and get their pit stop done. So that's number 626 into the pit lane, and that is going to be a change in race leader as we watch the number 25 cross the finish line and moving back up into P1. The number 25, driven by Josh Staffen for real-time racing, now your race leader again. Agüero Martinez moving up into P2, and Phil Cryotheos rounding off P3. However, this fight for the podium is starting to get very, very aggressive. A move made along the inside by Phil Cryotheos. Was the move made cleanly? It was made cleanly and it stuck. What a beautiful move along the inside the number 81 made, just to stick on the back bumper of that BMW. Michael Moletta and the number 72 Baller Squad Racing Porsche not too far off there in the back side of our screen. You can see him there. He's in the middle, having to defend against the Honda behind him. Just taking a quick eye over to our GT4 race leader, Matt Hugh, in the lead. A commanding lead, I do say so myself. However, a 10-second time penalty and still needing to go into the pit lane. 6 minutes and 20 seconds left for the Chevy to decide when they are going to go into the pit lane. Phil Cryotheos, less than half a second between him and the BMW. Some GT4 traffic happening now on our screen, so that's going to be a big shakeup for the GT3s in front. Is a move going to be made? Will Phil Cryotheos use the GT4 traffic to his advantage, make a little cheeky dive along the inside potentially? We're going to see what happens now coming into turn 1, as both drivers now coming through the start-finish straight, crossing the finish line, and a gaggle of GT3 cars behind them still fighting for position. Sparks flying and contact almost being made between Andres Espinosa and Jean-Francois on our screen there. However, Andres able to make the move through the Tosa hairpin, able to get out in front. So moving up into P18, the number 27 Audi goes. Side by side, The number 27 and the 105 go into the hard braking zone. That is the double left-handed Rivazas. Jean-Francois electing to give up the track position and allow Andres to go through on the racing line. Andres Espinosa now keeping an eye on Michael Cortez, able to make it alongside Michael Cortez, not able to keep up to pace with the Audi there. The beautiful, unfortunately discontinued V10 that is the Audi platform will be going away from GT3 racing in 2026. But making an amazing move there and still showing that it is machinery that can still compete with the best of the GT3s. Contact. Oh, we weren't able to get it, but a triple contact being made between the drivers P3, P4, and P5. Phil Cryotheos. It looks like Michael Moleta. Who else was involved in that? That is a terrible accident there. Let's see if we can... Oh, yeah, let's see if we can get a better look at that. The number 81 was involved, but who else was involved? The number 72. Let's see if we can get a better look here. So we are on board with the number 72 Porsche. Little bit of slow movement from the Audi in the front. A move being made along the inside. A triple sandwich. Oh, the vortex of death claims another. It looks like the Porsche tried to make a move along the inside because maybe they thought they were given space. However, that door closed incredibly quickly on their nose. And that is an incident that, or avoidable contact, if I do say so myself. Matt Hugh, your GT4 race leader, out of the pits now. So that moves your race leader for the GT4s over to Alex Cruz. Alex Cruz only a second in front of Leila Martinez. We can see there on the left-hand side of our screen in the mac and cheese Aston Martin GT4. A little bit of some GT3 traffic as well. We do see some Honda brake lights. However, it does look like Alex in the BMW is only going to have Leila to defend against because it is a decent time gap between Leila and Bonus. That is a Honda over there in the back, I believe, doing a little bit of the spinny spins. And I think that Honda went on vacation. I have no idea what happened there. That is the number 6 Honda having some trouble getting out of the sand trap. So hopefully they can wait for a safe rejoin and get back out on the track and continue racing. But going back over to the GT4s, it does look like there is a time gap between Leila Martinez, the number 924 Aston Martin, and Bonus Charles in P3 for the GT4s. It's about 9 seconds between them. Andres Espinosa along the inside, and the Audi V10 turns from a racing car into a rocket as it bounces through the sausage curbs and into the dirt. What from a race car to a bouncy car to a moon car. But tried to make a move along the inside, but it looks like they had the move made. Damien Castro in the BMW elected to give him the spot, and I don't know if it was just Andres coming in too hot or just it's dark and he wasn't able to see the apex correctly, but just taking too much of that curb and making it into a moon car. Yeah, I don't really know what to say there. That is the end of our official pit window. So no more official pit stops are allowed. which does mean 14 minutes and 30 seconds left in tonight's feature race. This is round 2 of season 19 for GT Americas. Thank you so much for joining, wherever you are, whenever you are tuning in, listening in. Whether this is a main screen activity for you, a second screen activity, or maybe even a third or fourth screen activity. Thank you so much for having us on your screen. Oh, Phil Cryotheos unfortunately going off the track there out of turns 3 and 4 out of the first chicane. So that's going to be putting all 4 tires in the dirt, which is going to be slowing him down. That pushes him down into P4. So another car rejoining the track. That's that's the Audi of Andres Espinosa rejoining the track or the race. I don't know if that was a safe rejoin, and I'm going to let the stewards decide that, with Phil Cryotheos having to take some defensive action there to avoid any contact between him and the Honda. Traffic now happening between Phil Cryotheos and Clayton Filsinger there. So Cryotheos trying his best to catch up there. 5-second time gap between them, but that allows Victoras to get right behind the McLaren, the Odyssey Racing League McLaren. And Victoras trying to catch up and cut down on that time gap there, as we do see a little bit of a skirt on that exit there from the Lamborghini. And then it's Espinosa side by side with Michael Cortez. Lex to maybe try to go around the outside, but that is not, in my opinion, a really great place to go. Michael Cortez putting the right-hand tires into the dirt, so that's going to be slowing him down. However, slowing down it is actually Andres Espinosa, because side by side now it goes him and Jean-Francois with contact being made door to door. The magnets are happening. Is this going to be a three-way with the Porsche sandwich in the middle? Actually, no. Andres Espinosa able to eke out in front of both the Ferrari and the Porsche of Michael Moletta. And what an incredible set of moves being made here between the last couple of turns. Flashes being had by everyone, showing that some of them are not happy with some of the things that are happening. But racing is racing. As we see a dive along the inside by the number 72. They are there. And is that for position? I don't even think that's for position. Multiple battles happening on our screen for position 2 by 3, 2, almost 3 wide, almost 4 wide, with the number 11 trying to slip on in. Oh, that's a turned around McLaren of Michael Cortez. Luke Lezama able to make the move there on Michael Moletta in that Porsche. So Luke Lezama moving up into P6. Jean-Francois also able to make the move on Andres Espinosa, moving up into P17. Contact being made back end to front end, and a side ejecto Cedo cuz being handed out by the Porsche to the Ferrari there. So that's going to allow Andres Espinosa side by side with Jean-Francois actually able to make it past, and now the 27 gets back the position of P17. However, moving up with Luke Lezama and Michael Moletta still fighting. Luke Lezama able to push his gap a little bit farther than Michael with like 1.5 seconds. And speaking of gap, Josh Staffen still in the lead with a 20-second gap and holding on to the Purple Crown. 9 minutes, 49 seconds left in the race. Agüero Martinez in P2, not too far off from them. Clayton Filsinger in the number 615 Odyssey Racing League Esports Lamborghini P3, and Phil Cryotheos in the number 81 Odyssey Racing League Esports McLaren P4. Victoras Pujokaitas rounding off your top 5. I don't know about you racing fans, but that was an incredible set of series that happened right there on our screen. Oh, the 27 Audi goes off. Losing the front end there. Out of the first chicane. Trying to recover, but unfortunately not able to recover quick enough. And that's going to be pushing them down a couple of spots in the standings. And that's going to be giving Damon Castro maybe a little bit more breathing room. Unless Jean-Francois can make up that 1 second gap in that Ferrari behind him. Tim gargles some water. Looking along the inside of Red Guzman. Red Guzman along with the defensive move being made. Brake lights coming on. Tim along the inside makes the move stick. Is able to stay along in the side of the white lines. And he does. Able to keep the car on the track. Making it an excellent move along the inside there. Tim gargles some water in the number 660 McLaren. Still having to defend against Red Guzman, who goes deep into the second chicane. Getting pushed off a little bit slightly. However, the number 6... once you go in a little aggressive, sometimes you're gonna have to expect once you start pushing a little in the braking zone, you're gonna have to expect to get a little bit of pushback, as some of the drivers do say so. Four minutes and 55 seconds left in the race. That means the action is still not over. Miguel Cesaro on the 999 Aston Martin on our screen, going left, right, and then left again, trying to make a move along the inside of Damon Castro in the BMW. The inside move does stick. The 999, it does go through. Now into P17, the 999 Aston Martin is going to have to look to defend in the next chicane here. As there's less than a second gap between both cars. And as we all know, racing fans, anything can happen until that timer reaches 0. A quick check on the fastest car on track. Still holding on to the purple crown is Josh Staffen, the number 25 Honda. 142.202 is their fastest time and the fastest time tonight. Oh, what happened? Something's happening on my screen. Someone got into an accident. Oh no, that's the number 239. So they are hemorrhaging positions. Richard Harknett. Oh no, what happened? Side-by-side contact that Richard Harknett and the number 66 and with the Aston Martin. Was that netcode? Some weird contact happening between both cars. Richard Harknett and Alex Donaldson. Both cars just randomly get collected there coming out of basically turn 1. Maybe they didn't see each other or something. That's crazy that those cars, that nobody got extensively damaged from that or thrown off into the other side of the wall. That is a crazy set of experiences. Richard Harknett, though, with a squirrely exit, trying to go through the Tosa hairpin as we move through. Andres Espinosa on the back bumper of the Aston Martin, having still to get through the GT4 traffic. Still watching that time wind down and also keeping an eye on our race lead. Andres Espinosa going into the pit lane was given a drive-through, and I don't know if this is a drive-through because if this is the this looks to be a drive-through for track limits. So that is a terrible, terrible series of events for Andres Espinosa, and that is gonna be their race there. Miguel Cizeron almost coming into the back bumper of Jean-Francois there. 5-second penalties being handed out. Oh, that's to the number 66. That is Richard Harknett being handed out a penalty. And that's going to be for that contact that happened there. That happened on our screen. With 33 seconds left in the race, that is our white flag. So that is the final lap of the race, as our leader did cross the finish line now. So we're going to be keeping an eye on them. But first, we're going to still stay with the action happening on our screen, as this battle for P16 is still going on between the number 105 and the number 999 as they go side by side through the final chicane, with a little bit biting off a little bit more than he can chew. Possibly Miguel Cizeron initiating contact in the middle of the chicane. More contact happening between the number 105 and the 999. Potentially retaliatory contact, but I really can't say anything because I'm not a steward, right? So I'm going to let the stewards decide that. But Michael Moleta on the back bumper of Phil Cryotheos as they go through the start-finish straight for the final time. It looks like they're going to be fighting for position. And what happened there? A huge incident happening between the number 72 and I didn't see what the other car was, but maybe a big move being made along the inside and it not being able to stick. But Phil Cryotheos able to come out unscathed. Tis but a flesh wound, said Phil the Iceman Cryotheos as he continues on the track. So that's going to be him in P6. However, in P1, going through the last couple of turns, this is the Rivazza turns, the number 25 Honda, driven by Josh Staffen for Real Time Racing, crossing the finish line for the final time and taking the checkered flag for their maiden victory here at Odyssey Racing League GT America's Season 19. Congratulations to Josh Staffen. Through the Rivazza turns, Agüero Martinez in the number 79 BMW comes, going now through the start-finish line, crossing the line, taking the checker and passing the checkered flag in P2, Agüero Martinez. P3, Clayton Filsinger for Odyssey Racing League Esports in the number 615 Lamborghini, taking P3. Keeping an eye on the rest of the drivers as they go by as well. I did forget to mention Agüero Martinez is also your winner for the rookie drivers, for the red-plated drivers. So Agüero Martinez, the number 79, is P2 overall, but your winner for the rookies. We didn't see them cross the line, unfortunately, but Alex Cruz, your GT4 winner. The number 272 Ferrari, driven by Wyatt Yator. P9 overall, however, crossing the finish line and taking the win for the amateur drivers. The number 272, your winner for the AMs. And again, sorry for your GT4s, your winner, Alex Cruz, your GT4 winner. Leila Martinez in P2 for the GT4s. And a bonus Charles to round off your podium for the GT4. So congratulations to all of our winners, especially our top podium placers, Josh Staffen, the number 25 Honda, Agüero Martinez, and the number 79 BMW, and Clayton Filsinger, in P3, to show Luke Lezama. So I do believe because of time penalties, this may allow Luke Lezama to take that P3 spot. All these time penalties. Oh, so we have a 10 from Agüero, then we have 15. So it does look like it's going to be Luke Lezama in P2 provisionally and Phil Cryotheos. However, this is your provisional standings for this race. We're going to let the stewards and the admins look over the time penalties and hand out those time penalties as they do apply. So that is it for GT America's Season 19 Round 2. A quick little intermission before we leave for tonight. We do also have round 5 of the Odyssey Racing League Noobs Are Us Endurance Series, September 13 at 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time. It's going to be the 3 hours of Imola. And then the final round of the Endurance Series, round 6, it's going to be 4 hours of Suzuka, September 27th, 12 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time. I do hope to see all of you there. And I hope you all had an amazingly fun race. This was very exciting for me. I'm about to lose my voice. I don't know if y'all can tell. But that's going to be it from me here in the broadcasting booth. I'm going to have to go return my night vision goggles before the rental agreement is up. But my name is Christian Julian. I go by Koju here as well. And on behalf of Odyssey Racing League, thank you so much for joining us. Have a great rest of your night.
I've been treading water for some time, picking up the parts of all my life. Didn't get to solve it this time. How am I